Imagine this: it's late at night, and you're tossing and turning in bed, yet your mind feels empty. You start doubting yourself, but there's still a voice inside saying, "Is this the love you wanted?" You've lived for love, changed for love, even sacrificed yourself for it. But in this moment, the relationship that once seemed full of passion and promises now feels devoid of any attraction. You begin to wonder, what has love really given you? The warmth you sought, or invisible chains? Do you find yourself beginning to doubt, what has gone wrong with modern love? Did we choose the wrong person, or is it that we don't even know how to love anymore? In an era of endless choices, information overload, and instant gratification, has love become overconsumed, commodified, and even turned into a performance? From a young age, we are taught, find true love and live a happy life. But when you look back now, how many people have truly found true love? Maybe you've already started to realize that the love you thought you wanted and the love you expected are separated by a vast gap. Perhaps, you begin to wonder, is it that every love is hiding some kind of false need or insecurity? We often believe that love is an idealized state, unconditional, accepting, free, and selfless. But what's the reality? Modern love seems more like a transaction, a trade of interests. We bargain in the name of love, and often, love is not a union of souls but a cooperation of two lonely hearts. This is not because the essence of love has changed, but because, over time, in the hustle and anxiety of modern society, we've gradually forgotten how to truly understand and experience love. Now, you may begin to wonder, why does this seemingly perfect love always leave you feeling exhausted? What lies behind its falsehood, its facade, and its insecurity? How has this subtly influenced the choices you make in your life? The true love you once longed for, has it already become unrecognizable, trapped in the mire of reality? So, the ultimate question arises: if the love we understand today has drifted so far from what love truly is, how do we redefine it? In a world filled with pressure, temptation, and desire, how can we reclaim real love, without being deceived by external voices, expectations, and self-deception? In modern love, we often overlook a fundamental truth: love is not just a chemical reaction between two people or a romantic emotional interaction. It is deeply rooted in our inner world and even in the structure of our personality. Carl Jung once said, "Each person has a repressed self, which is the shadow." The shadow represents parts of ourselves that we hide, parts that society and culture do not allow us to express. And modern society, particularly its expectations of love, is precisely the product of this repression of the shadow. From a psychological perspective, Jung believed that when we cannot accept certain parts of our shadow, those denied parts quietly shape our behavior and emotions. In modern love, we often see people striving for perfect love, trying to idealize it, and neglecting the most real and vulnerable aspects of love. We are taught that true love is unconditional, flawless, yet this idealized love is nearly impossible to find in reality. As a result, anxiety, insecurity, and disappointment slowly creep in because the gap between unrealistic expectations and real-life experiences creates immense inner conflict. Nietzsche once said, "A person's greatest enemy is the person they failed to become." This internal conflict in love arises from the real self we hide behind this mask of love. When we constantly compare ourselves to others, expecting them to give us what we are missing, we ignore our own independence and wholeness. The core problem in modern love is that we try to place our happiness in others, rather than within ourselves. At the same time, modern society reinforces the commercialization and idealization of love through culture, media, and education, neglecting the real emotional needs of individuals. In a fast-paced, instant gratification world, love has become an exchange rather than a union of two souls. We have become accustomed to relying on external validation and emotional responses, yet these are temporary comforts, not profound connections. True love cannot be measured by external conditions or material possessions. It is an inner contract, a union of two complete individuals coming together based on self-awareness and mutual support. In this cultural context, our psychological needs are distorted. Love has been over-commercialized, becoming a tool to meet external standards, rather than a path to self-realization and self-awakening. Today's love is more about filling the void and insecurity within, rather than a form of spiritual freedom and mutual support. In our pursuit of perfect love, we have neglected to focus on self-independence, inner growth, and self-awareness. Therefore, the problem with modern love is not just the issues between people, it is more about the issues between people and themselves. You may think that the issues within modern love are merely isolated phenomena, or perhaps just personal struggles for you and those around you. However, the reality is far more complex than you might imagine. The flaws of modern love have quietly seeped into the entire structure of society, influencing the destinies of countless individuals. Every seemingly inconsequential choice, every relationship that lacks true freedom, is contributing to the cultivation of this societal dysfunction. The deepest consequences of modern love often aren't the surface-level arguments, separations, or disappointments, but rather a much deeper form of self-alienation. When you place your happiness in the hands of another, you slowly lose yourself. You no longer know what you truly want. The lines between loving and being loved become blurred. In order to sustain a relationship, you begin to compromise, to settle, and ultimately lose your individuality. While these sacrifices may seem to be for love, in the end, they lead to the neglect of your own value and independence. Your emotional dependence begins to dictate the course of your life. The consequences of this self-alienation are far-reaching. You may begin to feel increasingly distant from your true self, experiencing anxiety and emptiness. You may find yourself constantly questioning your decisions, your emotional needs, and even what it is that you truly require. When interacting with others, you may feel an inner void, as if you've lost touch with the very core of who you are in your closest relationships. Each emotional exchange seems to deepen this sense of alienation. What's more serious is that this profound sense of loss and anxiety begins to affect society as a whole. More and more people are falling into difficulties in love and marriage, not just because of problems between two people, but because of their own internal confusion and insecurity. This widespread phenomenon in society is a reminder to you. The dysfunction of modern love has moved beyond the personal level and has become a collective cultural dilemma. We have become accustomed to using love as a tool for social interaction, a means to fulfill personal needs, while neglecting the fundamental essence of love. It is a soul contract between two people, a mutual awakening to both the self and the other. In today's fast-paced, instant gratification world, love is no longer a long-term commitment, but more of a fleeting satisfaction and escape. We are afraid to face our loneliness, afraid to confront our own selves, and often use love to fill the void within. When this phenomenon becomes widespread, love ceases to be a source of mutual nourishment and growth, and instead becomes a tool of self-avoidance and social conditioning. Unfortunately, the hollow feeling of modern love is not easy to detect. Most people take it as normal, thinking that this is just what one should expect in adulthood. You might habitually tell yourself, love should be like this, and marriage should be like this. But the problem is, this mindset is slowly distorting your understanding of love, pushing you further away from your true self. You are drowned out by the voices of society, and in the end, you neglect your inner voice. If you fail to awaken, the dysfunction of modern love will gradually erode your life. It will not come like a sudden disaster, but will slowly permeate and quietly take over your mind. You may only realize it years later that in the pursuit of love, you have lost your independent self and your most genuine dreams and desires. Do you realize that if you don't begin to examine these hidden consequences, your love will forever remain superficial and utilitarian, never touching the deepest self or the most sincere emotions? When you begin to realize the deeper issues of modern love, a rebellious impulse may quietly grow inside you. It's not a rebellion against the world, but a desire to break free from the shackles that have been limiting your true self from within. You once believed that love was about conforming to others' expectations, fulfilling their needs, but now you begin to question, who have I been living for? The problem with modern love is not that there's no love between two people, but that each person hides their true self. You've tried to meet the expectations of others in love, but in doing so, you've ignored your own genuine emotional needs. You start to realize that the essence of love is not about pleasing others, it's about acceptance, an emotional contract built on equality between two independent individuals. The compromises and sacrifices you make in love are, in reality, a denial of your inner desires. You've been telling yourself, for love, I must sacrifice myself, but now you start to question, is this really the essence of love? So, how do you break free from this cage? First, you must confront your true emotional needs. You no longer view yourself through the lens of others needing me, instead, you start to listen to your inner voice. You come to understand that love is not merely an exchange of giving and receiving, but a mutual dependency and growth of two souls. When you begin to live for yourself, not to please others, you will realize that the true meaning of love is revealing itself to you. This rebellion is not about overthrowing love, it's about freeing love from the false frameworks in which it's been confined. You begin to let go of the obsession with perfect love, the expectation of self-sacrifice, and start embracing the imperfections and contradictions inherent in love. You learn to respect your own emotional needs, rather than catering to external expectations. You are no longer a role in a relationship, but an independent, authentic self. Those who have truly lived with clarity in history achieved this by embracing this kind of rebellion. Nietzsche once said, "True freedom is breaking all shackles and returning to the most primal, most authentic self." And this freedom is gained in the process of self-awakening and recognizing your own needs. When you no longer live to please others and no longer succumb to external expectations, you will discover that the true meaning of love is becoming clear and real. The essence of rebellion is not to oppose others, but to reconcile with your own inner self. You need to free yourself from repression and self-sacrifice, and reclaim your most authentic emotional needs. Love in modern society is not beyond repair, but you must have the courage to face it, let go of those false expectations, and accept the truth of your inner self. Only then will love cease to be a burden and become a source of freedom and growth. As you begin to break free from the repressed notions of love and experience self-rebellion and awakening, you will arrive at the ultimate revelation. True love is always born in the process of reconciling deeply with yourself. Modern society has constantly ingrained a false belief into us, that love comes from the outside, that it is something you receive from others, and that it is determined by your environment and others' expectations. However, the most profound love comes from your acceptance and recognition of yourself, from your willingness to meet your innermost, most authentic parts and embrace the emotional needs and vulnerabilities you once ignored. This process is not easy. You may feel lonely, even confused. You once relied on love to fill the emptiness within, thinking that possessing the company of others would grant you everything you needed. But you gradually come to understand that this dependency not only causes you to lose yourself but also makes you miss the most profound self-discovery. You've been waiting for external forces to fill the void inside, but the real fulfillment can only come from within you. The key to this realization is, you no longer need external relationships to define yourself, to conform to society's standards, nor rely on others to prove your value. You begin to deeply understand that true love comes from inner acceptance, from unconditional trust and compassion for yourself. You no longer view love as an exchange, instead, it becomes an inner balance and harmony. When you start looking at your relationships through this lens, you will discover that love is no longer a goal you need to strive for but a natural force that flows effortlessly and deeply. Nietzsche once said, "One must first conquer oneself to truly be free." And true freedom is breaking free from external constraints and facing your innermost desires and needs. You no longer sacrifice yourself for love but learn how to balance love and independence. Love is no longer a cage in your life but a part of your soul. It helps you grow, helps you understand yourself, and helps you understand the world better. You may already realize that the true meaning of love is not what you receive from others but what you discover about yourself through your relationships. When you truly understand this, love ceases to be a burden in your life but becomes a catalyst for your self-awareness, prompting you to grow and become the most authentic, independent version of yourself. In this process, anxiety and insecurity begin to fade. You no longer need to lose yourself to please others, nor do you need to use love to fill your deficiencies. You learn to view love from your own perspective, to accept others with your most authentic self, rather than with a false version of yourself. Ultimately, when you find that most authentic self, love will appear before you in its most natural form, not as something you chase after, but as a meeting that occurs effortlessly. The ultimate truth is, you no longer need others to give you love, instead, you give it to yourself to gain freedom. Love, in the end, is the reconciliation with your inner self. Only when you stop living for others' expectations can you truly experience the essence of love.